And last but not least, as they say, eminent writer, passionate yes campaigner and national treasure, Tom Keneally.
Thank you, Uncle, for the welcome to country, but we'll make ourselves more worthy of it if we vote yes. We will give ourselves a legitimacy we have not had, and we did not suspect we lacked when I was a kid, if we vote yes. I first saw an Aboriginal camp when my uncle in Kempsey took my cousin and I on a ride. He was the dunny man, and he went out to Green Hill, which the locals call Green Hill, to collect the waste. And I thought at the time, gee, I'm glad I lived in a house, you know, because all I saw was Hessian corrugated iron and bits of fruit packing box. I mean, this is the elite of which Sky News talks to us. This is the elite from which people like Linda Burney are said to arise. It might surprise people to know that there are innumerable advisory bodies that report to government and have an impact on them. A notable one is the AMA. I wonder why Sky News has never got hysterics about the AMA proposing to government that we introduce compulsorily sterilisation for shock-jocks, even though I wonder why they've never had hysterics about the Pharmacy Guild. I wonder why they've never had hysterics about the Australian Society of Authors saying that we're going to introduce an illustrated Lady Chatterley's Lover to kindergartens. It beggars belief, the stuff that's being produced in answer to this. And while it happens daily, there are many advisory bodies, many of them elected citizens' organisations that speak to government as a matter of course. And like the AMA, like the Australian Society of Authors, to which I belong, and which had a very big impact on our keeping our copyright area, and therefore keeping a modest 2 billion industry going, without which there would be very few Australian books in that library, without which you'd be able to get 5 cents off Dan Brown novels, but you wouldn't have a culture. But there is Australian culture, and so much of it is Aboriginal, but it wasn't when I was young. And let us commemorate the great writers who are in favour of yes now. And so many of them were Adjuri, Linda, like you, Anita Heiss, Marcia Langton, Jonathan Birch, Helen Van Dieven, Ali Cobby Etterman, etc., etc. And they're all urging us to vote yes, and they're better writers than me. So they're also strong women, mainly, so I'm going to obey them. You can't go wrong obeying strong women. Their critiques of maleness are sometimes a little bit cutting, but that's a little price you have to pay for their wisdom. I turn 88 the week before the referendum. Don't upset my blood pressure by voting no. But I say yes as a kindly river in an equal land. Vote yes and close Or yes is the choice of fight. Yes is the close of fight and peace as planned. Vote yes and end the fatal wars of weapons and of laws. Say yes and bless the field where seed is cast. Say yes and shame the bullets of the past. Say yes, old woman and old bloke. Say yes, put out the fires the deniers stoke. While all the normal shock-jocks tell you, wait, ask what they have to gain by their stale hate. Let us, forgive me, I'm not averse to applause. On October the 15th, Australia will enter a brave new area where we will be fraternal in a new way, where the old hatreds will be so out of date that even that nice, always smiling friend of Tony Abbott who's on Sky News will she'll be embarrassed to utter them. And thus I think that it is for us, our legitimacy, as well as the obvious legitimacy of the Aboriginals for whom we're voting yes, we need our legitimacy too, in the name of Narrabeen man, a latecomer only 4,000 years old, in a museum at Sydney University, a bit wasted there, should have a big cenotaph outside Brookie Oval. In his name, let us at last return. He never doubted he belonged to this country. Let us give our owners, the ones who had to be back in Green Hill by 6 o'clock in the evening if they went to town or they got arrested. The kids I saw with glue pot eyes and glue pot ears and ringworm. Let them, in the country where they had to be in their camp by 6 p.m. or be rounded up by the police, when they were true occupiers, as we know from Mabo and from Wick. Let us recognise at last the true preservers and occupiers of our country, and let us become legitimate by making their voice irremovable from our Constitution.
Hooray! Yes,